Hello guys, my name is Chance Rush. Today we're going to be talking about the 2003 Russian film The Return, and the directed by Andrei Zivgavanistev. Not sure if I got that correct. And then the 2019 film Parasite, directed by Bong Joon-ho. Titled From Obedience to Rebellion. We're going to get into the overview, get into a couple scene analysis, and we're going to figure out the comparison between these two films, because it is a little far-stretched. I'm not even going to lie, but I'm going to try my best to explain it today. So I hope you guys are ready. We're going to start with The Return, the overview of The Return. The story is surrounded by two brothers, Ivan and Andrei, Ivan the younger and Andrei the older, who have not been in contact or seen their father for around 12 years. Their father comes back after a day or two. He makes them take a trip. Obviously, one of the brothers, Ivan the younger, we're going to start off with him, is not as obedient as the other, but he still does go. Their journey becomes a test of obedience, endurance, and familiar loyalty as the physical and emotional landscape becomes more challenging, especially for the younger brother Ivan, like I said, culminating into a tragic confrontation and ultimately the father's death. I love this film. It's one of my favorite ones, and that's ultimately probably why I chose it. And then I used the AI to help me find a comparison between the two films. Let's get into the first scene analysis. In this scene, we can see Ivan, the younger brother, on a bridge in the pouring rain, sitting beside what we can assume, or, well, we know, are fishing poles. What led up to this is his rebellious nature, always arguing with his father and talking back to him. Always something led to the father ultimately kind of punishing him / teaching him a lesson by leaving him on this bridge, while the more obedient of the son was rewarded, not really rewarded, but not punished and kept in the car and out of the weather. We'll talk about both films later at the end of the demonstration. Sorry about that. In this other scene, this is actually towards the end of the film. We're going to talk a little bit about the death of the father and how it happened. They were late. They had left to go fishing, came back late. They had a watch. Their father got onto them. It got a little physical as the father started to hit the older brother. And, of course, again, as I said, a little more obedient of the two brothers. The younger Ivan decided to be in a way rebellious and run inland on the island. Inland of this island, there was a watchtower or some sort of tower, but it was very rickety, very old, rusted, and he decided to climb it. Did not adhere to his father's commands or listen to him well at all, and that ultimately led to his father's death. From what you see here is, I have a question: why does Ivan feel bad at the end? What I'm talking about is at the end of the movie, where the father's body sinks out into the sea, and you see Ivan screaming as the other brother, Andrei, is just sitting on the beach. Why does Ivan feel bad? Well, what I kind of got from this is that the rebellious nature is not worth it. And I kind of see that theme in both films. And that's kind of the comparison I've made of the two films. Is it better to be in compliance of society guidelines or familiar guidelines or whatever guidelines is set, rather than be rebellious and have like a scar for the rest of your life, is kind of what I'm saying. And what did we learn from this film kind of just begs the question of, is rebelling better than following in line and being in compliance to everyone? let's get into Parasite. This film follows the Kim family who lives in poverty. They infiltrate the Park family, posing as highly qualified service workers. Eventually, this film shows how a once obedient family starts to rebel against the social classes and one another. What I mean by that is, in this scene, or we'll go with this scene and we'll talk a little bit at the end the whole movie's kind of genuinely about. In this scene specifically, I'm talking about after the daughter has been attacked and the son of the wealthy family is passed out. The Kim family is, around their daughter, trying to make sure she's okay, while the Park family husband is yelling at the Kim father to give him his keys and all that. Well, eventually it gets to be too much, especially after the wealthy husband smelled the dead guy and wiped his nose. It caused the Kim father to essentially lash out and rebel against guidelines, is kind of what I want to say. And this ultimately leads to him killing him and him having the Kim father having to go into hiding and leave. And the son, he was hurt as well, and they lost a daughter, a sister, and in the end we have to ask, is it really worth it? Let's compare these two films. As I've said, is it worth it to rebel against the guidelines of your society, or in the Returns case, your parental? I'm not here to answer that. I'm here to compare them and show my opinion on it, which I think goes both ways. But in these films, as it shows, maybe it was unintentionally killed his father, but he still killed his father by rebelling, not following the guidelines or the commands he was told, and therefore he has to live with that for the rest of his life. And that is the scar tissue that you carry with you for the rest of your life. And in the same way, in Parasite, where the brother or the son, he gets brain damage from the whole situation. They are not obedient. They disregard the guidelines and infiltrate this rich family. And then, they even kill a person as well. And is it worth it? I personally do not think so. The daughter ends up dying. They lose their old house. I mean, that would have happened anyways, but we're still counting it. The father ends up having to hide in that same basement for however long. The mother is in ruin, and the son ended up with brain damage. So, like the Return, the uprising and the rebellion led to bad scar tissue for the rest of your life. In the end, what did we learn, guys? We learned that in the Return, he was fairly obedient, finally resisted, causes a rebellion, ends up with a lifelong scar, and the fact that his dad dies. And Parasite, kind of the same thing, where the Kim family infiltrates this rich, wealthy Park family, breaking the societal rules, and ultimately leading to just breaking down of humans in a way, and the fact that they fought those people in the basement, and ultimately leads to a lifelong scar. Both films in that way, in my opinion, and it was very fun to compare these two films in this assignment, and in this way I liked the breakdown. AI helped me a little bit, helped me with writing, definitely gave me a great start, and thankful that this class actually allowed us to use it and actually encouraged it. Very different from what I'm used to. But guys, that's going to be all. I don't want to take any more time. Hope everyone has a fantastic day. Thank you.